This is Ron and Blue, just taking my daily walk here in Hua Hin, Thailand. And today's topic is on never to work again. So our socialist educational system trains us as soldiers to be able to efficiently work in a corporation. And how sad is that? And actually universities and colleges back in the day were designed to actually find your passions, right? That's essentially what they were designed for initially back in Europe, where you get to a certain age and you find a certain topic that you would be interested in doing, and you would enroll in those studies in order for you to grow yourself together with your passions. But today in a modern age, what happened was university is now created for the corporate giants, right? So you have to, you know, study certain subjects that aren't necessarily part of your passions. They're just courses that are designed so you can be an efficient corporate worker. Essentially what society does is they actually you know, emphasize the importance of work. You know, you have to be there. Obviously a lot of people actually have to go to work to live their daily lives. You know, the costs and the expenses associated with just living your overall life. A regular job is what you would require. So we actually understand this concept right when we're kids, right? I remember being in a car when I was a kid, and my dad was driving me to school, and I remember asking certain questions like, what are you doing? And he would reply back saying he's going to work. And I asked what my mom was doing, and the same answer, she's going to work, right? So from a very early age, we're taught that work is where people are, and as a child, you start to believe that that's where my parents would be while I'm at school. So that's where they're supposed to be. So from a very early age, we're taught that work is where everyone is supposed to be. So one day, me and my girlfriend actually had this conversation saying that maybe work isn't where we're supposed to be, right? I mean, is there a way to escape from the workplace, the 9 to 5 that we all work at? And is it really necessary for people to work like 5, 10, 15, 20, 35, 50 years? You know, I mean, some people, they might enjoy their work, and that's fantastic. But the majority of people do not enjoy what they're doing. And sadly, they're trapped. And they're trapped because they have to pay for their expenses, their accommodation, the food, the clothes, the materialism. You know, they're forced to work in a job that they don't particularly like very much. But it really isn't necessary for you to work all those years, and we're an example of that, you know. And we made the choice of traveling and finding a place to live abroad, keeping our costs low, you know, and having rental property for residual income, and having passive income streams from dividend paying stocks and other investments. So that's the lifestyle that we decided to choose, and it has brought us freedom, you know, to pursue the passions that we are so interested in. So it is a life that's very much possible to achieve, and we never want to work again. I mean, or at least having work as an option. If ever we run into some kind of roadblock, then we may go back to work again someday. But for now, we're gonna, you know, indulge in all this passion around us. So what was really funny was during the time we both had those traditional full-time jobs, working 9 to 5, the people that we were actually working with, all they did was bitch about their jobs. You know, I'm sorry to use that word, but that, you know, it was a real waste of time. You know, you would have your lunch hour, and the coworker would just sit down and start, you know, bitching about the boss or the work, and it was a daily routine. I mean, what does that do to your mind, having to bitch about your work all the time? And it definitely was not healthy to hear it from other people, you know, how bad your job really is. I mean, I hardly ever heard anyone saying that they really loved their job, and it was depressing. The work in itself, you know, we definitely were not passionate for, but it was necessary, you know, for us to achieve financial independence, to be able to save that money. And but I never for once thought that I would be working there for 35 years or 40 years in a career that I wasn't especially very enthusiastic about, and we freed ourselves from it. Point is, you gotta stop bitching about it, right? You gotta start doing something about it, you know, and maybe looking at your own life, your lifestyle, and seeing ways to tweak it. You know, find ways you can make it better for yourself. Perhaps adopting certain philosophies like we have. For example, in minimalism. Minimalism was definitely something that we chose, and it was an effective weapon, temporary weapon, for us to get to financial independence and to live the life that we are living today. So it's fantastic having those choices, right? And it's a waste of time to be bitching about your job. And you should, if you're seriously thinking about wanting to quit your job or to never work again, you have to strategize about it. And a good way to really do so is to really focus on your personal finances. But I'm definitely not telling you to quit tomorrow. That's ridiculous. We actually worked a good 15-year period in our corporate jobs. I mean, we had part-time jobs before that, but that didn't really add to our success today, because during that time we spent away on materialism, and you know, it was our first time having a job, and it was nice to be able to spend it on junk that we didn't need. But that was during our younger days. But now, I think once we hit our 30s, we started to really seriously think about escaping the rat race, right? And you hear that all the time, how to escape the rat race. And you'll hear all of these different types of methods to do so. But for us, frugality and minimalism was really the most realistic option that you can take to achieve financial independence. What you can do is maybe you can change that negative perspective you have of work right now, you know, and think of it as something temporary, right? Make those goals outside of work. You know, constantly learn and educate yourself, other than sticking really with the traditional means. Maybe doing some research on the non-traditional. Whatever method that you do choose, you got to stick with it. You know, a lot of people actually, they hop from one method to the next, and they never achieve anything because they just keep hopping from one thing to the next. So I highly suggest what you do is when you find a method that really matches you, stick with it. And you got to look at things outside of the workplace, you know. You got to look at the non-traditional means of finding success there, other than just looking at the traditional. And having to pursue just the growth of your income shouldn't be what passion should be all about, right? You should look for things that would make you happy overall. It's kind of hard to explain. It's just, you have to work, that's true, but you kind of put that aside and think of ways to really personally develop and to find your own passions outside of work. You know, work actually just becomes a vehicle for you to just eventually grow your net worth for it to be something worth it for yourself in the future. So tell me whether you would want to live a life yourself of not having to work anymore. I mean, some of you might argue that what are you gonna do with all the free time that you have? That's really up to you. That's what the beauty is, right? Would you rather be sitting in front of a desk and typing away all day for the pursuit of the goals of the corporation? Or would you rather free up all this extra time on your hands to give you the opportunity to find your own passions? And I think that's what I would rather do, and that's what we're doing right now with my girlfriend. You know, it's given us the opportunity to free our minds and heal our minds, I like to say, outside of the corporate world. And it's a very rare situation we're in, and it's a very rare situation that many are kind of afraid to follow because they like the societal corporate structure that we're supposed to follow. We're afraid to be judged by society. Well, tell me what you think of not having to work in the comment section below. And if you have any thoughts of your own, please go ahead and share them in the comment section below. I'd like to very much hear them. If you like this vlog, please don't forget to give me a like, subscribe if you haven't already, hit that notification bell for more of my coming content here. Thank you for watching my vlog. Be free, gain wealth, and travel far.